Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome to Fire's Place, Cooking with Fire. So today, I have a very easy, simple dish. One of my favorite dishes, which is kale potato soup. Okay? And earlier on in one of the episodes, I was in the midst of making one, but it wasn't ready. So we weren't able to show you anything about it, how it tastes afterwards, and plus I needed a little bit more perfection. So check this out. So already for you, I have the kale already ready. You see what I'm saying? It's basically already ready. It started with one package of Lipton onion soup mix. Might not be very healthy, so I wouldn't consider this like a super healthy meal at all. It also started with my favorite seasonings, paprika and turmeric. It also started with black pepper and just regular garlic powder, not salt. So one of the things I did realize in my last soup is I didn't have enough potatoes in it, right? So the can of potato soups versus the cream of potatoes, you still didn't have enough potatoes. So I do have something funny about that. But in here are my potatoes. They are already done, and as you can see, I did cut them into little squares. Not tiny ones, but not large ones either. Very important. So funny thing about this is I do have to share this. When I decided to put a lid on it, I was told, my son said, oh, you don't put a lid on a colander, it has holes in it. But I said, it's in the glass. And he goes, but Mama, who does that? But I was like, but it matches. I do that, right? So if that's like a no, that you don't do that, let me know. Let me know what you think. Is it cool? I mean, is that really a no-no to put a lid on a colander just to cover up your stuff if it's waiting in the colander versus being in the open? Coronavirus? No, I'm just kidding. Not in my house, it is not. So anyway, what we're going to do is now we're going to start building, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the potatoes, okay? I'm going to get the potatoes added in there. All right. Bam. Done with that. Then we're going to start building with a soup. And I opened up 4 cans. But you know what? Oh my stars. What if I don't need all 4 cans? Now what this is cream of potato soup. And to each cream of potato soup, you're supposed to have 1 can of water. Okay? But we don't want things too watery. So what I do, I'll say, is I build afterwards. So and you wanted the cream. Last time I did have not this much. That's why I kind of doubled it and used the smaller cans this time, because it wasn't like a root. There was no broth, and I was a little disappointed in that because I wanted it to be a broth. See, this all started with a sister at the church back in the day, and she came to the church and she herself made some potato kale soup, and I never forgot about it. Okay. So one of the things was, here I am, I say, okay, I'm going to try to make it myself. So basically that's what I'm trying to do, is seeing if I can rekindle what Sister Evie, I'll never forget Sister Evie. Well, we do. I haven't talked to her in a minute, but what she made, oh my stars, she made a bomb soup. I'm going to leave out 1 can for right now. You know why? Because I had some leftover cream of mushroom. Cream of mushroom cheddar, that is. And so, again, this show is about cooking with what you already have, right? And so what we're going to do is now we're going to still add that. That's why I haven't added. And so in this is mushrooms, cheddar, and ground organic turkey and ground organic ground beef. Okay, so we're gonna add those, and as we can see, we do need some water. we definitely is going to need some water. Now we'll add some water to it as we see how thick it is combined with the water. See, remember, there is water already at the bottom. So we don't want to forget that we do have water at the bottom. So you kind of want to like get all that mixed up first as best you can. And once you feel you have it all mixed up real good, mixed already with the water, then you can assess how much more water you really need in there without losing your cream, your roux, before it just get all watery. And you notice there's no more seasoning added to this. I don't believe I'm needing none. But then as I add, and this was a whole cup, and I just poured in half a cup of water. Now we know that we need at least one whole cup and a half, right? But we still don't want to just shove it in there all at once, especially me, because I can make a mess. Now this little old spoon was only supposed to be used just to get the soup. But you see, I'm real good with my roux still. So my senses tell me to go on and add the rest of the water. You see that? It's still creamy. It's still creamy. And we're going to turn the stove on right now. See, because the one thing I didn't turn the stove on, one thing I learned last time is I overcooked the kale. Overcooked the kale. So this time I'm truly being mindful to respect my kale, that I don't overcook it, that I lose all the nutrients out of it, because we do with our greens. We have a bad habit of overcooking our greens. So I didn't want to overcook it. So everything was done, and so now we'll turn the heat on it, and we will allow this to heat up really, really good. And I do believe it's still safe for me. I have enough room. I am going to add another can of water. But I'm going to use a cup instead of the can. The cup's a little bit larger. That way, if I need it more, because remind you, I did put in 3 cans. And each can is supposed to have 1 can of water with it. But we don't want to use all 3 waters if we want to keep our roux a little bit. But we don't want it to be too salty, probably. Let me get some water. Well, we know we're going to add the whole cup, period. We just know that. And I still have not lost my roux. Still haven't lost my roux. So what we're going to do now is allow that to simmer. Allow that to heat up and simmer and all blend and mix together. So once this gets all nice and hot, then as I do have it, I'm starting high, but then I'm going to babysit it, and then we're going to turn down low. And that should take for good eating right there. Nice good soup and everything right there, right there. And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to allow that and give it about a good 15 minutes. We need about 5 minutes for it to first heat up because it was cold. So that's why it's on high right now, so it can heat all up. But then soon as it gets to its fullest, and I can see that it's fully high, in about 3 minutes that it's set there on it, then we want to turn the temperature down, because you don't want it, because really everything is already cooked. So you just really want to get it heated really good and simmer. If you started this earlier in the day, you could just let it simmer all, for hours, just on simmer, and just let everything just marinate within itself that way. But for the sake of the show, we didn't do that. Okay? All right. So we're going to put the lid back on her, and we're going to let that heat up. Let's give it about 15 minutes. Hey, check this out. While that is still warming, it's almost ready though. It's almost ready. I did want to bring up something and talk about something, okay, that I do practice, all right? And cans. and that is recycling, which is very important. But it's also very important, I think, during now, just in case they decide, okay, we're just going to come and pick up maybe your recycling not as often as they used to do it. What if something changed and you need more room, or you have to keep your recycling longer? One of the things that is important is, first off, you want to clean it, okay? You want to rinse it out. You want to totally do your best you can to clean it, because you may not know how long it has to sit, for one. Second, or what I'm doing, and even to the larger ones for like a homemade oven, just in case, it's just a little vision I had, is I clean them and I take them down, and my vision is to fill them up with wax. Put what do they call, a wick in there, a nice long one, and then fill it up with wax. These are amazing, long-lasting homemade candles, emergency candles that I, recommend us get a little artsy and crafty. Another thing is, I had to call my son. He was amazing. Back in the day, one of the things that give us more room is the cans were designed where you could take, you can opener, use a can opener for both ends. You can't do that no more. It's usually the flip tops and the bottoms are kind of dull, so the can opener or the electric can opener, it just really doesn't give it a good grip. So I wanted to show that, but I couldn't show that, so I called my son and asked him to flatten it the best he could, and he did better than I thought. So it still can be done, even if the can openers don't want. You got some good strong, legs, foots in the house or whatever. This is a good way to flatten them and get more room in your recycling, okay, at the same time. So I just wanted to really just kind of share those tips with you as now I get ready to call your boy J-Dub so he can come on in, and I know it is ready and we are ready to see what it tastes like. Okay, hey, yo boy, Jordan, J-Dub, it's ready. You ready to come and taste it for me? Here he comes. Here he comes. All right. Hey.
Oh, what you got in here?
Well, what I have today is, check this out. I made some, yes.
Ooh, why are you picking it up? That's dangerous.
I'm just saying. I know you can. I'm just saying.
That was good.
Kale potato soup, okay? And with the leftover cream mushroom cheddar with the little ground beef and turkey that I made, leftovers, we just added that with it. So I want you to see what you think. And I didn't do any seasonings to it. And they're still sitting over here waiting just in case you might need to add something. So I didn't do that first, because I know if everything I used.
I got a lot of kale compared to
compared to everything else. We need some vegetables now. We didn't have some the other night.
Let's go. That was good the way it is.
Just the way it is. There is no seasonings needed.
I got a little more roux on it. Broth, roux, whatever it is. That's got
broth. Yes. Oh, it is really, really good. Hey, another thumbs up.
There we go. That one's starting to look a little bit more like yours. All I had was kale.
Maybe I gave you the wrong bowl.
Yeah.
If you ain't finding the string to the foods, you almost made me think it was here last time.
Oh, the world? This bowl got soup all on it. My goodness.
Oh, that was gross. Oh, it's my fault. I think you're right.
What?
Oh, no, you did it because you went and got seconds. I was trying to see if maybe I'm the one that spilled all the soup on your bowl. This is really, really good.
This is.
It really is. And that's one thing about leftovers, is that if they do not sit, very long or anything like that. Because my soup that I had made, even though we're doing the shows, it was just the day before yesterday, so it was fresh still. And so it just made for a good extra added flavoring because it was already flavored. That's why I didn't use any salts or seasoning because everything was already flavored. So it just really is a good eating, healthy eating, very good eating. He's still singing.
Damn good.
Oh, I got a really good thumbs up. And the really good thing is that the kale.
Nice and crunchy still. Not too soggy.
I had to learn it the hard way when it comes to kale.
Still has a little bite to it.
You can still enjoy everything, all its nutrients and everything. It's like you said, it's a little crunch and everything, but it's still soft enough and flavorful. You know what I'm saying? So you haven't lost any of nutrients. You get to really enjoy the greens the way they're supposed to be enjoyed. Other than being close to just eating them naturally, you know. But it's one of the faster greens that you can cook. And if I'm not mistaken, somebody can quote me on this. It might be one of the healthiest. I'm not really sure. But I know it's rich and it's high in vitamin K, fiber. I mean, you can look it up. Again? Right now, I want to talk about the shirt I'm wearing. Chocolate Dough, Portland's own local entrepreneur. Check it out. You can go online. They have a variety. They even have masks out and everything. All kind of gear. So check out Chocolate Dough. And anyway, thank you for watching the show. And until next time, figure out what's in your cabinet.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
Well, yeah.
You got a recipe for us to try? Or for her to try? There's no others. I'm not cooking.
Right?
Go ahead and comment that below. Go ahead and email her. All that info will be below in the description box.
So, well, go ahead. Yeah. Do that. All right? All right. And again, until next time, healthy creations or whatever you got in your kitchen. You can make it happen. And save money, too. You sure can?
Yes, we can. Alright.
Peace.
Peace. This is hella good.